say, man, welcome to another week of Preps Plus. We apologize for the hiatus, but we back, right?
Back in action like it never happened, right?
Hey, you already know, man. So, looking forward to another great week of high school football in the Preps. Man, league play starts for some, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, this is always
gritty,
right? It's always one of my favorite times of the year. We still got a bunch of great matchups. I know Folsom plays Pitt this week. Yeah. That'll be a big one. I saw Menlo Atherton plays Del Oro.
Okay.
That'll be a big one. So, you know, kind of that theme of us versus the Bay is back in full effect again this week. Another great, have another couple opportunities for us to put ourselves on the map. So, yeah, man, it's going to be a great week.
Yeah, I mean, just some things to carry over just from the past weeks, right? Sheldon got that big win over at Christian Brothers. They took a tough loss, though, on this past week, but they still showed even then, they battled a very, very good program, and they showed that they're not just, a team that can beat up on lesser opponents, that they're for real. I think Sheldon, definitely look out them down the stretch, just things to look out for. And, of course, Granite Bay keeping it going. They won their honorable matchup. I think they're really, that prediction of them taking the Sierra is looking very alive as well with Oak Ridge.
I agree, man. That Sheldon loss this past week, I think that helped them. When you're a good team, you're rolling, and you play another good team, and you kind of lose, it kind of wakes you up. Like you're not invincible. So I think that they're going to learn from this mistake, and when they go in the league, I think they're going to dominate the Delta League and bounce back with full effect. And like you said, man, just high school football, and it's time to get down to the nitty gritty, man. It's starting league play for a lot of guys, man. This week, the football season's been flying by so fast, man. Like it's about to be week 4, week 5 for certain teams. There's buys already. We're just getting to the nitty gritty part of it.
I agree. I mean, as usual, I think the shuffling at the top is interesting, right?
Okay.
Oak Ridge is here, right?
Yeah.
You got Oak Ridge, Granite Bay, Folsom, Rockland's, quietly stacking up dubs and getting better, so that SFL is about to look like the SFL.
Yes.
I think too, man. You got Monterey Trail now getting into their league. They're getting better week to week. Jesuit just got a big dub in the Holy Bowl. They're starting to put it together. They've been stringing wins as they learn each other and get better, which is always a good recipe. So, as usual, it's shaping up to be a great end of the season here, bro.
Yeah, ready for it.
Man, we're going to jump right into it, man. We're going to hop right into the weekly picks.
Sure.
I missed these.
Let's get it, right?
I get it. I'm going to win this week.
Okay, so once again, because of the ref shortage, man, Thursday Night Lights have actually delivered, man. I feel like we're in the NFL. How NFL Network has those Thursday night primetime games because they always deliver for us on Thursday. So this week, first one will go, highest ranked team. We got Pleasant Valley versus Oak Ridge.
Ooh.
Okay, so we got Pleasant Valley coming out of Chico, 3-0 versus Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge Trojans, they 3-0 as well. I'm sticking with Oak Ridge. I'm just going to keep it up. Shout out to Oak Ridge as well. Had a nice dominant win against Silverton out of Oregon. Held it down for Sacktown with an out-of-state opponent. But, it's not even, to me, no disrespect to Pleasant Valley, but it's not a question of how much they win by, is if they're going to even get scored on. Really, I just want to see a team that's going to be able to put up points on Oak Ridge at this point. They're not, they're out here. They're really serious, and I think Oak Ridge takes this easy.
No, I agree, man. I'm going to go with Oak Ridge, man. Like you said, I want to see who's going to score on them. Casey Taylor's up there, man, and he got that group up there believing. Oak Ridge is back. They're 3-0. They're not a hype team, but they're just a team that's playing together, that's meshing together, and they're just racking up dubs, man. They're just getting it done, so I'm going to have to go with Oak Ridge.
I like it, man. For all the reasons you guys said. But shout out to Dame Dollar, Pleasant Valley. I see you, Dame.
I see you, Dame. Yes, sir.
Everything's good. Shout out to Pop. Shout out to Moms. But yeah, I'm going to go Oak Ridge. I think they just have an identity, man. They know who they are. Casey kind of found a rhythm, and he learned his guys. They learned him. So the system's, not new anymore. They know what to expect. Mm-hmm. And you guys can see that clicking, man. So I'm taking Oak Ridge by a couple scores.
Yeah. Okay.
So next one I'm going to get into, right? We got Monterey Trail versus Laguna in the start of some league action, like I was talking about. The Metro.
Hey, big shout out to Laguna as well. They're coming in, they're 3-1, very competitive, right? Got impressive wins over Franklin, Pleasant Grove. They're 2-0 in Elk Grove teams, but I think that 2-0 turns into 2-1 this week. I just think Monterey Trail is just a whole different animal. It starts off in the trenches. They're tough offensively, defensively. Yeah, they had a loss or two on the way, but they're against, good programs. Lost against Folsom, right? First game of the year, they kind of got hit in the mouth, but then they came back in battle against De La Salle. And after that, it's been impressive wins. So I think Monterey Trail handles it easy.
I'm going to go with Monterey Trails, man. Like you said in the past, man, Coach Ewing knows how to stack their schedule. and now they're getting close, home games and like in-town rivals and league. I don't think the Metro is ready for Monterey Trails. I think Monterey Trails is going to run through their league until they meet up with Grant.
I agree, man. I think this game is less about Monterey Trail and more about Laguna for me. Right? Because Coach Neal, String Bean, y'all know my dogs. They got some players over there. I think this is the week we learned about Laguna.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Every challenge that they've gotten so far, I feel like they've handled it well. Right? They ran through our Franklin Wildcats. Yeah. They beat up on them PG Eagles. They're really the best team in Elk Grove on this side of the overpass right now, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Because between Valley, Franklin, CO, and then Laguna, right? CO Laguna, who wins that? Who knows? Right now, some would say Laguna, right? So they're really the best team on this side of the overpass. But with all that being said, like I'm obviously taking Monterey Trail, but I'm just curious to see how well Laguna competes against them.
I like that.
All right, next game we got Casa versus Oakmont.
I like Casa in this matchup. Ever since that week 1 loss against Placer, they've been showing that they're very resilient. They even came back and played a physical Lincoln Zebra team. They handled them, right? And I think, Casa, they're just very potent offensively. They're very electric. It seems like defensively, they're figuring it out as well, and I think they should be able to take care of Oakmont.
I agree. I'm gonna go with Casa too, man. I think, like Mark said, I think they have an identity on offense. They're electric. They can dink and dunk, but they can also take a long shot. But now they're figuring out who they are on defense, and once that defense catches up and clicks all the way together like they're doing right now, I think Casa's going to be an issue later on down the road. But I'm going to pick Casa in this game.
I agree, man. We're getting into that part of the season where it's about stacking weeks and getting better and finding identities and sewing things up, and I think Casa's doing that. I think Oakmont's going to be a game for them where they win by 2 or 3 scores. Building that momentum as we get in here to this later part of the season. So I'm definitely going with Casa.
Most definitely.
Next up, we got a Roseville team who I've been impressed with versus Antelope. Little Roseville game, right?
Yeah, Roseville actually has some athletes, right? I was able to catch some film. Shout out to Shooting the Straight Sports, right? They had the highlights up.
Shout out to our guys.
Yeah, they have some athletes up there, and I think even though Roseville has some athletes, I know, Antelope, they had a sour taste in their mouth, first half of the season. So I'm really trying to see how Antelope responds. I know on paper Roseville gets it, but I'm going to go with Antelope in this game. I think, just like that Inderkum game, right? I think they don't allow themselves to go down 1-4 to start off the season. They had a tough preseason. I think now things are going to start clicking, and I think the tide is going to start changing for Antelope.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna go with Roseville on this one. I don't know. I think they're a team, and I think with Antelope, they're still trying to figure it out. I think they're still trying to put the pieces together, and like every time one thing is clicking, the other one's not, and then when the other one's clicking, the thing is not. So I think Roseville is just a balanced team, and they're going to be well coached, and I think they're going to try to go in there and play Antelope and hit them in the mouth and just try to get it, get up on them quick where Antelope is pressing now, and I think Roseville is going to win this game.
I hear you. I'm trying to confirm right now. So Antelope actually played, I think, River City last week, so they got 1 on the board. They're 1-3.
Yeah.
But I think this is a tough one for me. Because, it's almost like I don't want to jump off the Antelope bandwagon, right? I started off the season saying that Antelope was a good team, and I kind of thought they were underrated. They had all these dudes coming back, and they were supposed to be X, Y, and Z. So I really don't want to get off that train. But I've just been impressed by Roseville. I think, like I said, man, the season's all about figuring out who you are, knowing who you are identity-wise. I think Roseville's found that. I think the Brandon Graydon kid they got at quarterback is a dude. I think he brings a lot to the table for him, man. So, in a tough one for me, right, I'm going to go with Roseville. And like I always say, maybe a swing game I can get on y'all. So, I'm going to take Roseville in this.
Hey, check the dental records. I'm up right now.
I like it. All right, so next up, we got Rodriguez versus newly ranked West Park.
Ooh.
Hey, shout out to West Park, right? Do they even have seniors at that program yet?
Ooh, yes, they do. Because class of 23 is the first one.
Okay, so their first class of seniors are now here top 25 ranked already. That just shows, shout out to them, what they got going on, right? Just shows the discipline, the hard work, the grind that they're putting in. Yep. They got their hands cut out. They work cut out for them. Rodriguez, they're not always a dominant team in Fairfield, but they're always a sneaky, talented team. There's a lot of speed, a lot of athletes on the perimeter. I think West Park still takes this dub.
Okay.
I think they're going to be able to get this dub, so it's going to be the greatest challenge so far this season. But shout out to West Park. I think y'all got it.
Okay.
This is tough for me, but I'm going to go with West Park too, man. I think they're just rolling right now, man. They're a team, like you said, it's their first year of seniors, but like when they first opened up, they were already together. They were getting beat up by everybody, so I think they are finally molded. They trust each other. They're playing like one band, one sound type of football. Like you said, Rodriguez has a lot of talent. Shout out to Leroy Bryant, committed to UW.
Yeah,
he's a hell of a football player. But I don't know if he's enough. I watched a couple clips. I didn't really see a lot. I just see more of him. So if they have somebody else other than him, maybe they have a chance. But I think West Park is just going to roll him over right now.
Okay.
I'm with you, man. Rodriguez, man, a team that I remember us playing in high school that I've always had a respect for, right? Because like you said, they always got, a guy or two. This year being Leroy Bryant. We remember when Stevie brought him out here when he was a young pup, man, and he was more of a hooper than a football player. But to watch him grow, man, shout out to you, big dog, man. Talk to Juice up there in Washington. They're excited to get that dude up there. He's been putting it down so far this season. So I think West Park got their work cut out for him. With that said, I'm going to rock with West P, right? I'm going to walk with young Barksdale and my dog Ryan Sisson, a.k.a. Salt, right? So you got to keep going out there and holding it down, man, and all our guys over there at West Park. So a bigger challenge than I think they realize and a lot of other people realize. Maybe not them, but other people realize. And that's going to be a really good game, man, because Leroy Bryant is good enough to where he might be able to carry them by himself.
Yeah, true.
We'll see what happens.
Shout out West, too. I see you, Tweeter.
I see you, Tweeter. So now we're going to get to some Friday night games, man. Traditional night of
Friday night lights, baby.
I can't say how much I love those Thursday night specials, though, I won't lie. But now we're back to Friday, and we're going to start off with a big one. We got Folsom versus Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the battle of, the quarterbacks, right? We have Austin Mack that's, obviously he's collected his fair share of Pac-12 offers. And you have Jaden Rashada, arguably one of the top quarterbacks in the country.
Yep.
Right? So this is going to be a nice smackdown, but I'm going with Folsom, right? I'm going to keep it in the sack. I just feel like, every year Folsom plays Pittsburgh, Folsom always has their number. Last year it was supposed to be a closer game. Folsom handled them. I think it's the same thing this year.
Man, like you said, it's going to be a good game. A battle of the quarterbacks and a battle of the receivers. Because, Folsom, Pittsburgh got some receivers too. Folsom, shout out to all the receivers over there that we know. I think it's going to be a nail biter, man. I think it's going to be a shootout. I want Folsom to win, like you said, keep it Sacramento. But it's going to be a nail biter, man. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I'm thinking like 50s.
50s?
50s.
Okay.
50s?
Okay.
DJ, y'all better do better than that, bro. DJ, y'all better not give up 50, DJ. Chavez, we better not give up 50. All right, but I'm going to rock with Folsom, too. Obviously got a lot of love for all the cats over there at Pittsburgh. We know a lot of those players, watch a lot of those players on the circuit in the training world and the 7-on-7 stuff, man. They got some dudes over there. That's no question about that. But Folsom got dudes, man. And when it comes down to it, I actually think it's Folsom's defense is the reason why I'm taking Folsom over Pittsburgh, because I just think they're probably a little bit more together on defense. Maybe not as much team speed, but I think that they're, they understand what their assignments are. They're going to fly around to the ball. They're going to do their job, and they might just create that one or two turnovers that make the difference in the game. So DJ and Chavez, don't you make me look crazy. All right. Next up, we got Menlo Atherton versus Del Oro.
Shout out to Menlo Atherton. The first time, I doubted him against Elk Grove. They put up a hot 60 on him, but I think Del Oro, I don't think that's going to be the same story with Del Oro. Shout out to MA, right? They got talent, they got boys, but, it's sack all day. We come to play. Exactly. So I think Del Oro is going to go ahead and handle them. I think it's going to be a close one, nail biter. I think it's going to really come down to who makes the less turnovers, right? Whoever makes the less mistakes, that's going to be the winner of that game.
I'm going with DL, man. DL's been playing tough. We doubted them early, but they're showing they're a team that they always been. They fell off for a little bit, but I think they're back. The camaraderie of the group, I think they're going to end up going out there and putting it on MA, but I think they just got to get pressure on the quarterback. They got a Power 5 receiver over there. That's a boy. He's strong. He's physical. He's fast. He's going to make a tough catch, but I don't mean anything if the quarterback can't get him the ball. So, I think DL is going to dial up some blitzes and, put it on their quarterback, and I think DL is going to win this game.
I'm with you, man. I'm going to just reiterate. Folsom, Granite Bay, Oak Ridge, Del Oro, Rockland, Whitney. Sheesh. And this is just another game, man. I think Del Oro finds a way to win this game, and it's just another game that's going to give them more confidence going into that crazy league that I just said, man. So I'm rocking with Del Oro, man. I think that's probably one of the game of the weeks right there that I definitely want to see the result of. Probably won't get to watch it, but I'm taking DL. All right, next up here, we got Vacaville versus Granite Bay.
Ooh, this is another sneaky matchup. You know, Vacaville is always a team. They had that tough loss to Oak Ridge, but other than that, they've been very impressive for the most part. But I just think, you know, Granite Bay is just going to have a steady diet of Carter Jackson. I think they're, you know, 20, 30 touches. I expect that. And I think, you know, it's bigger than just Granite Bay's run game. I think also what's very slept on is their defense, right? I know they had a tough game against Vista in the secondary, but I feel like, you know, Vacaville is more of a run-heavy team. And I think Granite Bay, that's right up their alley. I think they handle this by 2 or 3 tugs.
Yeah, man, I'm going with Granite Bay. Like you said, Vaca played Oak Ridge, and they struggled. But, like, again, they're a running team, and they're playing another running team. So, like you said, Granite Bay struggled against the passing offense, but it's 2 running teams. Now it's going to come down to the trenches. And I just think Granite Bay's trenches is better than Vacaville's. And then, obviously, you got Carter Jackson running that, toting that thing. He's going to get the ball 20 to 30 times. And, you know, you just better wrap up, strap up your helmet, enjoy the ride.
I'm with you, man. Vacaville's a prideful program, so I never want to say that they're going to get blown out.
Yeah.
But I think if Granite Bay does this right, they need to blow them out. And I'm going to say why. Because you got to keep a Carter Jackson healthy. You know, you got to make sure that defense is feeling good because I just mentioned that league, right? They got to make sure that they're healthy and ready to go going into league play, man. So I think if they let Vacaville hang around, I think they definitely win. But I think they pay the price later. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just that toll that takes.
Yeah,
because like you said, Vacaville's a physical team. You know, they're a prideful team over there. I know them practices has probably been some dog days over there for them as they, you know, are going through the trenches. But if Granite Bay can handle business early, I think that's to the benefit of GB. But I'm obviously taking GB. All right, here we go. Next up, we got Elk Grove versus CO.
Okay, you know, both these schools, they had success in the past. And I think they have good offenses. Now, both these teams, they struggle defensively, right? I think at the end of the day, though, I think Elk Grove's defense is better than CO's. And I think that's going to be a problem with CO, just especially with Elk Grove's offensive attack on the ground. I think Elk Grove wins this by maybe 10 or more points. But definitely both these programs are, you know, they definitely got to kick in their rear end to try to, you know, pick up the tempo in the second half of the year.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Elk Grove, man, just because of the front, the trenches. I've been to a bunch of CO games, and I also watched Elk Grove play, and their sides up front, CO doesn't have a chance.
Yeah.
And if you can't run the ball, the relief the quarterback from throwing off his back foot, he's going to hit the ground a lot. It's going to be a long night for them. So I'm going to go with Elk Grove just off the pure fact the front is way better, and I think Elk Grove is going to dominate the game. I think they're going to win by 3 touchdowns or more.
I agree, man. And I think to go along with the front, I just think, again, you're going to hear this theme from me a lot, identity. I think that Elk Grove knows who they are on offense and defense. And I think that they're getting better week to week because there's a very clear identity that Hef and Pale want to run over there. And each week they're going to get closer to that. Whereas CO, I think where they're struggling right now is identity, especially on the offensive side of the ball, right? I don't think they know who they want to be. I don't think that there's a lack of talent there. I actually think in the trenches they're not horrible, right? They have big bodies, but they don't have an identity, man. So I think for that reason, it's Elk Grove by 3 or 4 scores as well, man. So shout out to all our guys at CO. You know, love y'all, bro. Go out there, compete and fight hard. Y'all know the standard. But I'm rocking with Elk Grove. All right, Chico versus Whitney. Yeah.
You know, Chico, they always have a sneaky tough program, but I just like Whitney in this matchup, you know. I just think Whitney's probably going to win this game. This probably be one of the games where Chico hangs around for like 3.5 quarters, and I think Whitney pulls away in the fourth, wins by 14.
I'm going to go with Whitney, man. You know, they hit a bump in the road last week. They played a good football team. I think they're going to bounce back, and they're going to come out swinging and fighting. I know they didn't like that loss, you know, so I think Whitney's going to, win this game by a couple touchdowns, man. I like Chico. You know, Chico's okay. I think they're going to be all right. They're going to come in and fighting, but I think Whitney's going to take over in the second half.
I agree, man. I'm going to keep talking about that lead, right? And I think for Whitney, this is an important game for them because, scheduling-wise, Coach McDowell did a good job. They had a tough preseason schedule. And now as we get into league, man, this is a game where they can build a lot of confidence going into league, man. As long as they're getting better week to week and taking the lessons from each game and growing from them, and I think that they give themselves a shot once they get to that league. But for this game, I'm going to pick Whitney, but I'm hoping it's a decisive win for them.
Yeah, no, for
because
sure.
If it's not a decisive win for them, I think they're going to put themselves in a tough position, again, going into that league, right? So I'm rocking with Whitney. Hopefully it should be by 2 or 3 scores. But again, they got to figure it out, man. Here we go as we continue the pick'ems. Next one on deck, we got Lincoln versus Woodcreek.
This is probably going to be one of the closer matchups, right? I wouldn't say game of the week, right, just because we have some big dynamite matchups, but this is definitely going to be, I say, a nail-biter. I think Lincoln Zebras, they go ahead and take this one. It's going to be a close battle. I know they had some tough losses early on in the season, but I think that's what's going to be the difference maker today, right, or this week, is that those games are going to make them tough. They're going to be battle ready, and I think they're going to pull it out in the trenches.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Lincoln as well, man. I mean, I love Woodcreek. You know, they that offense is tough to prepare for, but you know, I think Lincoln has just too much for Woodcreek. You know, prove me wrong, but you know, I think Lincoln's gonna, like Mark said, they lost some tough games, but those tough games are helping them for games like this and helping them going into the league. So I'm gonna go with Lincoln.
I like it, man. I always look at the schedule to see if I can find kind of that swing game to put myself back on top in our personal rankings. So this week, I'm going to go with Woodcreek, right? I'm going to go with Woodcreek. What I'm really counting down on is a little bit of a letdown from Lincoln, to be honest with you, right? I'm counting on a letdown from Lincoln and an uptick from Woodcreek because I think Woodcreek realizes what a great game and what an opportunity this week is for them. So what it comes down to is I think Woodcreek's just going to want this game more than Lincoln, right? I think Woodcreek has enough pieces to get a dub, right? Especially if they create some turnovers, get some early momentum, don't get down too much too fast, right? They hang in there. I think they can get it done. So I want to get a couple up on y'all to catch back up. And I'm believing in the fighting AK. So come on, AK. Don't make me look crazy, big dog.
Drip's been looking better, too.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my dog. All right, next up, we got Del Campo versus Christian Brothers and a bounce-back opportunity for Christian Brothers.
Definitely a bounce-back opportunity for them. You know, they took 2 back-to-back losses, tough one to Sheldon and then the Holy Bowl as well, the Jesuit. So I think right now it's definitely going to be a game that not just a swing game for a week, but a swing game for the season for Christian Brothers, right? They're young. They took 2 back-to-back losses. So if they come out and they don't perform and they lose this game, this could be the, determining factor for the rest of the season on how it's going to look. But with that being said, I think they should go out and they should handle business against Del Campo. I just don't think on the perimeter, Del Campo has the pieces to keep up with Christian Brothers.
This is, like you said, this is a determining factor for Christian Brothers, man. If they don't win this game, I think things are going to start to fall apart for my guys over there. And with that being said, I think Christian Brothers is going to win this game because, like Mark said, I don't think their outside perimeter defense for Del Campo has enough for the Phillip Bills, Isaiah Jordan. Zeke ran the ball really well the other day. Their run game is really, really good right now with Christian Brothers. So hopefully, Del Campo sees the run game and kind of, lacks off the pass game because they wasn't really throwing the ball that much. And I think this opens up the pass game a little bit more. And, just hopefully Drew over there and young D can dial it up and, get it figured out and they get a dub.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think this about Christian Brothers. I think going into the season, they knew the Sheldon game and the Jesuit game were going to be tough games for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had a couple confidence builders going into that, but they knew their test was going to be, they were going to see who they were with the Sheldon and the Jesuit game. And to me, honestly, was it the result that they wanted? Probably not. Mm-hmm. But their league's still up for grabs. I mean, you look at their league right now. Obviously, Lamar going down to Sac High, definitely hurt Sac High. You look at Capital Christian, obviously they haven't been the Capital Christian that we thought they would be early on in the season. It's really Vista, right? And Vista's taken a couple of tough losses, but it looks like Vista is probably maybe that top dog in that league right now. But with that said, that league's up for grabs. So to me, if you're Christian Brothers, you took a tough loss to Sheldon and Jesuit, but those are definitely 2 of the top teams in the section right now.
Yep.
Things aren't looking bad at Christian Brothers.
Not at all.
They're going into league play. They get an opportunity versus Del Campo. Now, this Nas Jones kid at Del Campo is pretty good as well. So if you don't know who that is, man, he's a pretty, you can go a little bit. So I think this game isn't going to be a pushover, but I definitely think Christian Brothers gets it done, and they start building some momentum as they head into league here. Next one we got Rio versus Capital Christian, speaking of Capital Christian.
I know it's been a tough season for Capital Christian, right? Offensively, defensively, special teams, right? Definitely one of those years where I had some tough seasons, in my life, and definitely, a place you don't want to be at right now. But with that being said, for whatever reason, I just think this is maybe the game they figure out and they might pull out a W, right? I don't know how many are going to get this year, right? Because it was tough. But I think Capital, they should be able to go ahead and pull it out against Rio just because the teams that they did lose to, they weren't just slouches, right? They played really good, stout competition as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a game of the head coach over at Rio used to be at Capitol, and it's a little bit of Capitol, like he's not gonna be able to come in here after he left to beat us, and the head coach over at Rio's like, I'm gonna go in there and beat them by any means necessary. So don't be surprised if you see some trick plays and fake reverses, punts, and all of that stuff for them to get a dub. But I'm gonna go with Capitol because I think Capitol wants this and they need this. I'm gonna go with Capitol, but the coach over there at Rio, they're gonna try everything possible to get this dub.
They call that gamesmanship, right?
Yeah, right, right.
And you hit on the storyline that I was gonna hit on, man. I think Coach Reed over there at Rio, him being the OC last year at Capitol, obviously he knows. If he doesn't know the offense and defense over there real well, he definitely knows the talent over there really well. He has a good idea of what they have and what they don't have. So for that reason, man, I know on paper it looks like an 0-4 team playing an 0-3 team, but I think it's going to be a good game. With that said, I'm going to pick Capitol, right? I think it's going to be a little bit more of a ball game than maybe people expect. But all the things that I said about Christian Brothers are true for Capitol as well.
No,
they got off to an 0-3 start, but again, their league up for grabs to me. You know what I mean? Like Christian Brothers, we talked about them, that they have an op, but they ain't looked that great yet, right?
Yeah.
Sac High, like I said, they have the talent to survive a Lamar injury, but again, man, that's one of the best players really in the state that you lose. It's hard to survive that.
Oh, for sure.
And really Vista Del Lago, for as much as we thinking about them, they've been solid, but record-wise, I mean, I know they played some tough opponents, but man, even though they got off to an 0-3 start, it's really everything's on the table for Capital Christian. Right, you win your league, you're in the playoffs, you get better as the season goes on. Everything's there for them. So I'm gonna go with Capitol and a really big week for Capitol.
No, for sure.
Right, like I think this is, I ain't gonna say season make or break, but this is a big week.
This is a must-win game.
Without a doubt.
I'm gonna say it's make or break Capitol.
Yeah, it is a must-win game. Next one we got Grant versus Burbank, the North versus South, baby. North versus South.
We got the G versus 3500. Burbank, in the past, they've always been, very competitive, very athletic, but the Burbank of yesterday has not been the Burbank of today, unfortunately. So I think Grant is going to go out there and they're going to put up, I say 40, 45 points. I think they're going to handle Burbank easily.
Yeah, man. I mean, this used to be a good rival game, but it's not the same, man. And I think Grant hungry. Their game last week got canceled due to air quality, and them dudes is hungry over there, man. Like, I keep telling y'all, the G's back. They have a different swagger to them. They have a different standard over there now. And Sid got them dudes ready to fight, and our whole staff over there got them ready to fight. So them going into this league play, I think they're gonna run through Burbank like a hot knife through butter.
My heart's gonna hurt looking at the score of this game. Y'all know Coach B's all about the South. But I think Greg gonna go in there, man. They're gonna handle them boys. But 3,500 boys, man. Show some pride, show some heart. They got some good players over there, man.
They do.
Like I always say about Burbank, I think a lot of Burbank and the athletes that they have, I just don't think they have enough depth, man. They just literally don't have enough bodies.
Yeah.
Right. So who knows? Might be a close game in the first quarter, right?
Yeah.
But
First 10 minutes.
Yeah, but then after that, man, it's just I'm gonna close my eyes when I look at that score. But I'm taking the G, man. As always, shout out to Sid and all the coaches over there, man. They're doing a hell of a job. Next game I'm gonna go with is we got Yuba City versus Inderkum.
Ooh.
Yuba City is no slouch at all. And, Inderkum, they've been a rocky roller coaster all season. Even last week, they had went down to the wire with Cazumnes Oaks, And for whatever reason, my heart is telling me Yuba City's going to take this game. I just feel like, Inderkum, let's go back to identity, right? Go ahead and take it off your back, right? Inderkum, what is their identity right now this year, right? We can't really answer that right now, but we know what Yuba City's is, right? They're smash mouth, they're going to compete, hard hitting, they're going to fly around. I think Yuba City's going to take this game.
I don't think this game's a shocker. Yuba City's going to win this game. It's just like you said, there's no identity over there at Inderkum. They're still trying to figure it out. New OC, new DC, young guys. They just trying to figure it out, man. And it's hard to try to figure out and win games at the same time. And Yuba's been there before. They're senior heavy. They got guys that's been there, done that. So I mean, I'm going with Yuba.
If I could retweet everything y'all just said, I would. I think the benefit for Inderkum, right, the positive is they're really class of 24 laden team.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got a new OC with Marlon over there with the class of 24 kids. I mean, if they get nothing out of the season other than figuring out their identity on offense and defense, I mean, that's a dub by itself, right? Because then going into next year, I think they'll be much more of a threat really in that whole north end in the Sacramento area. But this year, man, I'm rocking with Yuba for the pure fact that I just feel like Yuba knows who they are.
Exactly.
All right, that's a wrap for another week's of Preps Plus. As always, man, we always going to show gratitude. We're going to show love. Again, we apologize for the week off, man. I can't tell you how many people were hitting us up talking about.
People were pissed.
What? Where's the episode at? Where we at? I promise you I'll never do that to y'all again, man. So,
sorry about that.
Yeah, we'll stay on it, man. We appreciate the love. We're glad you guys look forward to watching us. And as always, man, coaches, man, anything to just kind of wrap up this week?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the love, too. You know, shout out to everybody that really takes the time out of the day to tune in, right? Like I said, we're just people that are just passionate about football in Sacramento, just like how a lot of people should be coming up in here. I know we didn't touch on this team in the pregame. I know we didn't hit them in the pick'ems, but also watch out for Manteca, right? I try to tell y'all, and playing at Christian Brothers, right, coaching there, you know, playing Manteca, they tough. And out here, they smashing everybody right now. So watch out for Manteca. I don't just think they're one of the best teams in D3, but I think they're one of the best teams in the Sac Joaquin section, regardless of division right now. So keep it up. Good luck against the Monte Ranch.
Yeah, man. I just want to say, you know, we apologize for last week. We love the feedback. We love the energy. I love that I'm getting messages saying we miss it. You know, again, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate that. And I just want to, you know, guys, just keep playing, right? Control what you can control. Have fun, play football. That's why we play this game, because we loved it. It's fun for us. It's a child's game, man. So have fun this week and take care of school, man. Don't be out here doing all of this stuff for nothing, all this hard work for nothing. Take care of the school, because this is right around the time when grades come out and some guys fall off, and that hurts your team, man. So take care of school.
Retweet what Coach Tom just said. I hope y'all really heard that. Take care of the books, man. This is always a depressing time of the year because the grades drop and you got to hear about the guys that weren't handling their business. And not only does it hurt their team, but obviously it hurts them. But what I'm going to hit on is hydration. With all the heat going on out here, man, you know, I can't tell you how many cramp stories I've heard. I think obviously we heard about the kid at Del Oro. We hope he's okay in terms of the kid that I guess we classified as a heat stroke. He had a heat stroke, man. It was pretty crazy. But from what I know, I think he's okay, man. But obviously prayers up for him. But let's learn that lesson, man. I know the big heat wave is over, but it's still hot, right? It's still hot. So please make sure during the week, fellas, because that's what people don't know about hydration. You can't just do it the day of. Hell, you can't do it the night before. Hydration is a all-week job, right? So salt your foods, drink a lot of water, make sure you got a lot of electrolytes, because if you don't, you can Google it. Just Google dehydration and all the crazy stuff that it does to your body. Keep your body hydrated, young man. So that's my thing. But other than that, man, we love y'all. We'll see y'all soon, man.
Shout out.
Plus.
Yes, sir.